can stop us. Taking pride in where we're going, taking pride in who we are. Mobile, show your pride. Together we'll go far. There's a feeling of excitement, you can see it everywhere. The pride of our whole region is the heartbeat that we share. The heartbeat that we share. Taking pride in Mobile. Haven't you noticed? We've got it all right here at home. Nothing can stop us. Taking pride in where we're going. Taking pride in who we are. Mobile, show your pride. Together we'll go far. Mobile, show your pride. Together we'll go far.
Come ride a little train going down the track at the junction. Woo, woo! Very cool junction. There's old Uncle Joe moving kind of slow at the junction. Woo, woo! Very cool junction. I will return.
Get News Radio 710 WNTM anywhere, anytime.
From the Spring Hill Toyota Traffic Center.
Watch for a crash with road blockage, Brent Lane at Rawson Lane. Also, utility work is going on I-10 westbound at the Loxley exit. That's exit 44. Slow on the Bayway eastbound from I-65 to the Eastern Shore, 25-minute drive. With time saver traffic, I'm Lisa Baque.
This report is sponsored by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
If you see traffic trouble, call the Acadian Windows traffic tip line at pound 250, keyword total traffic when prompted. Acadian Windows, your hurricane protection specialists.
The Uncle Henry Show, weekday afternoons from 5 till 7.
Roll Tide, huh? Well, Uncle, calling you here on this March the 17th, your 2K26, otherwise known as St. Patrick's Day. I'm sitting here watching the local news for 12 p.m. And Fox News, they're showing highlights of the festivities and the celebrations and whatnot and all that going on throughout the day, even some live shots. I'm just wondering, will you be returning with a live show today, or are you partaking in the festivities with all the other drunks? I mean, all the other people. The curious would like to know.
If you are curious, like 68-year-old Chris of West Loxley, yes, live show, Uncle Henry Show underway here on News Radio 710 WNTM. I appreciate you listening so very, very much. Thank you so much for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Once again, here we are together trying to figure out what is going on. What is going on? The world seems to be more chaotic as every second ticks by on the clock. But me and you together, just the two of us, we can figure this out. Telephone number 251-479-2723. That's 251-479-2723 to reach the Uncle Henry Show. And tell me something. Now, today is St. Patrick's Day. I'm sure you have already figured that out. You've already figured out that today is St. Patrick's Day. Because it is St. Patrick's Day, I feel obligated. I feel obligated to share.
To me, it look like a leprechaun to me. All I gotta do is look up in the tree. Who else in the leprechaun say yeah?
Yes, look. I mean, this is something that Mobile can hang its hat on. The Crichton Leprechaun.
Could be a crackhead that got hold to the wrong stuff, and it told him to get up in a tree and play a leprechaun.
Could be. It could have been. So look, I'm going to give you coverage of the Mobile City Council meeting today. Not complete or in-depth coverage because it was. I'll tell you this, one of the weirder council meetings in quite a while. We'll get to that as I give you some coverage of the Mobile City Council meeting. But first thing from the council meeting I want to share with you, Mobile City Councilman Corey Penn, during his announcements at the City Council meeting, he had this to say today.
Of course, today, St. Patrick, celebrating St. Patrick Day. I have my chain, the Crichton Leprechaun. And so we're going to be thinking about some ideas in the near future, how we can highlight the great things, even with the Crichton Leprechaun in the district.
Okay, so highlighting the Crichton Leprechaun. That's from a city official talking about this. And I've wondered, this thing has such a life to it. I went on YouTube today to look for the Crichton Leprechaun video, and I lost count. I lost count of how many videos are up about the Crichton Leprechaun. Some people just put a copy of the video. I saw recent videos of people analyzing it. People sitting around, like in 2025, analyzing the Crichton Leprechaun video. They're just countless. Go look for yourself. It's the most viral thing to emerge from the city of Mobile in the history of the internet. There's nothing more viral than that Crichton Leprechaun from Mobile, Alabama. So Corey Penn, I believe that Corey Penn is correct. The city should try to figure out a way to make bank off of this. Yes. And one way would be to have some type of annual Crichton Leprechaun Festival. Have they already done this? Maybe I missed it, but there ought to be a Crichton Leprechaun Festival. Now, ideally, you do it in Crichton. I don't know if there's a good space there to do it, either there or Mardi Gras Park or whatever. But the city ought to do it on the Saturday before St. Patrick's Day. And yeah, people can go. There's a lot of St. Patrick's Day events, like the big thing down at Callahan's. People could go to both, but you could have a family-friendly Crichton Leprechaun Festival. You could sell all kind of merchandise. Just think about the merchandise. And because of the fame of the Crichton Leprechaun, this is an event that, if you do it right, could attract people from around the region. We've all been hearing about all these people from New Orleans and in coastal Mississippi riding the Amtrak to come over to Mobile for Mardi Gras and other things. Who wouldn't want to go to a Crichton Leprechaun Festival, even out of curiosity, especially if you made it more family-friendly than it being a big drunk fest? Now, and I mentioned drunk fest. You heard 68-year-old Chris mention it in his voicemail. I saw a stat today that claims that St. Patrick's Day is the number 4 drinking holiday of the year in this country. And a drinking holiday, a day with very high alcohol consumption. The list goes New Year's Eve, number 1. Christmas, number 2. Now, that's something. My family didn't do a lot of drinking at Christmas, but to each his own. Number 1, New Year's Eve. Number 2, Christmas. Number 3, the 4th of July, Independence Day. Yes. And number 4 is St. Patrick's Day. And I thought Cinco de Mayo would somehow surpass that, but no. St. Patrick's Day, number 4. So why wouldn't the city do what Corey Penn said and take advantage of that fame? Whether you like the image or not, it's worldwide. People know about it. Why not make some bank off it? Make some cash off of it. Get some publicity out of it. Come from out of town. Drive down from McIntosh or Thomasville or wherever you are. Drive from Baldwin County, from coastal Mississippi. Come on over here to our family-friendly Crichton Leprechaun Festival. While you're here, you might want to leave the festival and go over to the Callahan's thing. I just think it would be a great thing for the city of Mobile to do. So I hope they do something like that. It just makes sense to me. Now, I'll have more on St. Patrick's Day later in the Uncle Henry Show for you. Before I'm out of time in the first segment of the show, a little bit more from the Mobile City Council meeting. Young Mayor Spiro offered some quick congratulations at today's meeting to Bishop State.
It's my joy to offer some congratulations to Bishop State. Congratulations to the Bishop State's men's basketball team on winning their conference championship last week. The Wildcats are advancing to a national tournament in Kansas that'll occur later this month. I just want to let the folks at Bishop State know that the city's behind you, and we wish you the best of luck in this upcoming national tournament.
Very, very good. Congratulations to Bishop State. Now, look, we're about to go into a break for traffic, weather, and words from our sponsors, and then more on the Mobile City Council meeting, one of the weirder meetings that I've seen in quite some time. Yes, very odd. I want to remind you that if you're listening on the iHeartRadio app to this show, you can send me a message using the app, a voice message using the app. Just tap the red microphone, the talkback mic. Send me that message. Back after the break with more Uncle Henry's Show on News Radio 710.
From the Spring Hill Toyota Traffic Center.
Watch for a crash with road blockage, Brent Lane at Rawson Lane. Also, utility work is going on I-10 westbound at the Loxley exit. That's exit 44. Slow on the Bayway eastbound from I-65 to the Eastern Shore, 25-minute drive. With time saver traffic, I'm Lisa Baque.
This report is sponsored by Point Broadband. In our community,
YouTube viewers, thank you. Thank you, YouTube viewers. We've got a small number of people today, but I appreciate the smaller the number, the more important you are. It's true. Hello to Larry Morting, the Love Freak 69. Thank you for looking in on the program. 68-year-old Chris, thank you for looking in. JD, my condolences, JD. We'll do some prayer for your family today. And what a blessing, 91. Not a blessing to lose her, but I've got a member of my family that is in her, I guess, her mid-90s. I got two that are in their 90s and just love being around them. So condolences to you. We'll put you in our prayers, JD. Sharon of Fairhope, hello to you. The Mad Trucker, yes, the Mad Trucker. Retired or semi-retired. I'm glad Mad Trucker, I have something to give to you. So I will send you a message on how to receive what I'm going to give you. Now let's see, what can I tell you about while waiting to be on the Uncle Henry Show? KP of shirtbutter.com, hello to you. Norman Richardson, hello to you. What can I tell you? I will have a new show Friday, but I'm not going to be live on the air Friday. I'm going to a funeral Friday of a family member, a much loved family member, and didn't want to have to come in here and do the show afterwards. So I'm going to do a new show on Friday, and I think 68-year-old Chris will enjoy. I can't tell you yet who I believe is going to be my guest in the brand new show at 5. Now at 6 o'clock, I can tell you that I will air an interview that I'm doing with legendary guitarist Steve Vai. Steve Vai is coming to Mobile with Joe Satriani with their band. And I've got an interview with Steve Vai that's going to air at 6 Friday. Steve Vai played with really some of the most annoying musicians I think you can think of. I think he did a couple of albums with David Lee Roth, who's a maniac. He worked with one of the weirdest people on the planet, Frank Zappa. He's had his own solo career. So the Steve Vai interview will be 6 o'clock Friday here on the Uncle Henry Show, on radio or streaming. Let's see, going to be back on the radio here in about a minute. I want to warn you that I may space out and not make sense during this hour, and it has nothing to do with me drinking green beer or anything like that. I woke up at 2:30 last night, 2:30 a.m., could not return to slumber. Could not do it, could not return to the slumber. So every now and again today, I've just forgotten what I was going to say. I've walked upstairs here and didn't know why I went up there. A little sleep deprivation. So if I seem as odd as the council meeting today, it's because of the sleep issue. 68-year-old Chris, who are you talking about? Is Steve Vai still alive? Yes, I think he's 66. And he's trying not to look it. All right, back on the radio in just a few seconds here.
Of our American stories.
Roll Tide. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Whenever I go town, by the way, Uncle Henry's show continues. I'm sorry, I was enjoying my bumper music. See, anytime I visit downtown Mobile during the daytime, and I'm just walking down the sidewalk on Dolphin Street, this is the music I imagine playing in the background. We have news headlines coming up in 10 minutes here on the Uncle Henry Show. Before we get to the news headlines, a little bit of coverage from today's Mobile City Council meeting. Now, I've already told you several times it was a weird one today, weirder than usual. C.J. Small, council president, was out, and vice president of the council, Gina Gregory, was presiding, running the meeting. And part of the meeting, they had a public hearing. There's a tow truck company that got suspended for something they did or did not do at Mardi Gras. Now, I would share with you some of the audio, but there were so many odd things. I couldn't figure out what even to pull to play for you. You can watch the city council meeting on the City of Mobile's YouTube channel. So the weird part started when the owner of the tow truck company was appealing to the council. He was appealing his suspension. And he brought his lawyer with him. And the lawyer got up there and really didn't seem to know how to go about appealing. The lawyer ended up questioning the tow truck driver or the tow truck company owner as if he were a witness in a trial. Both of them sharing the same microphone. So you had him doing that. And then I think the city had their attorney up, and they ended up doing the same kind of thing, where a city attorney or a city official was interviewing a police officer as if he were a witness on trial, all using one microphone. And then it was a public hearing So anybody that wanted to comment could comment. Now, this one lady got up and said she was asked which side she was on, and she didn't say that she was on a side, or she wasn't taking a side. She was on everybody's side.
Everybody's side. Be patient with us. We don't know the process. Please be patient.
Well, this is the first time we've had one of these in a while as well, so we're having to kind of feel our way through.
So a citizen got up, and that's all she had to say, really. The citizen got up and asked the council to please be patient with us, the citizens. Again, odd. If you like awkwardness, it would be a wonderful thing. If you like awkwardness, if you enjoy it, if you get a charge out of awkwardness, I would watch that city council meeting on YouTube. Quite awkward, that whole public hearing thing. It was just as weird as can be. Now, aside from that, now Reggie Hill, who speaks at almost every council meeting as a citizen, he got up during the public hearing himself and talked a little bit, and then he also addressed them again. Here's a little bit of Reggie Hill today. The only reason I want to, and I had to edit this for brevity. He talked for about 3 minutes, and I cut it down to about half of that. Here is Reggie Hill. He was talking about the way that some people are treated when they address the city council. He thinks some people are not being treated fairly when they address the city council. He also mentioned if they were nicer or something like that, they would have less hostility at the podium.
Confusion about how some of these things operate. Now, we're all fans of the trees here. We all love these things about the animals and the dogs and things of that nature. But last week, there was a presentation, and there was a lot of stuff that
It was a presentation about a tree.
was out of compliance with how the rules are addressed here at this body for this meeting. And so it can only be one thing. Either we're confused on how the rules operate, or we're intentionally discriminating against particular individuals.
See, he feels like the people that talk, there was a couple of people that started talking about this tree that they want to stop from being cut down. He feels like they were given a lot more leeway than he ever gets.
And that's something that we're going to have to become in compliance to. We want to see the best results for the city of Mobile. I think anyone who takes their time to come down here and address you all, it's nothing personal. I don't know how many times I have to say that. It's about the business of the city.
Now, he says it's nothing personal. Now, I remember watching city council meetings before they implemented all these rules. When the city council form of government was first initiated here in Mobile, there were no rules. They didn't set up any rules about how you could address the council. And so people would get up. I don't have any of these recordings. I wish I'd saved them. People would show up day of council meeting, just walking off the street. And several times I watched people point at council members and say, hey, so-and-so, we're going to be sending you to jail. And so-and-so, you're going to be going to jail. And so-and-so, you're going to jail. So anyway, that's why they have all these rules, because they kept getting just hammered with people defaming them constantly at the council meeting. So that is why there are rules.
Millions upon millions of dollars have went into materialistic ventures that have done nothing to improve the quality of life of the city of Mobile. Maybe for a select few. There are a select few people who are benefiting from this, for sure, an elite group of people. But those who are the least of these, who need to be propelled so that everyone is uplifted, they are missing out on all of this. And then we're investing millions upon millions into these various vehicles and all these things that are not improving public safety. I ask that you would look into this unassigned fund balance and look at maybe $100,000 that we can put towards initiatives that actually work. People bring things down here that are productive. They're data proven. But for whatever outdated intelligence or fabricated intelligence or personal vendettas or things of that nature, we prevent ourselves from moving forward. So I think if we really want to stop seeing the hostility that comes to this podium,
if we really want to stop the hostility that comes to this podium,
after we're going to have to make a bold move and do that. We all tout. Let's work together. Everybody come to the table. But that's a facade. And that's for not, if you're not actually doing it for everybody who actually wants to be a part of that. So for time's sake, again, we'll have to continue this later.
All right. Now, I've got to make a mental note to at some point tell somebody, that's a facade. Whenever I'm hearing something I don't think it's true, that it's like a smoke screen, I'm going to remember that. That's a facade. Now, let's see. What can I share with you before I go to break for the bottom of the hour news for you? Young Mayor Spiro in his opening remarks, wanted to compliment and praise the cruise ship terminal workers.
One thing I want to recognize is the success of Mobile's cruise terminal. The staff at the Mobile, Alabama cruise terminal continues to prove why Mobile is a top-performing home port. Since Carnival Spirit returned in October, we've welcomed more than 41,000 passengers and parked over 10,000 vehicles. Those numbers reflect high demand for cruises out of Mobile, with the average voyage sailing above 100% capacity. I haven't figured out how that's possible.
Yeah, how can you sail at over 100% capacity? Are some people sleeping in the bathrooms or something? What's going on? More Uncle Henry Show coming up here on your St. Patrick's Day after the news break.
Time saver traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design.com traffic center.
Still have a crash with injury and road blockage on Brent Lane at Rawson Lane in Pensacola. Heavy congestion on the Bayway East on I-10. From I-65 to the Eastern Shore, it's a 25-minute drive. And on Highway 59 from I-10 to Gulf Shores, a 55-minute drive. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Lisa Baque.
This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
For victims of drunk and drug driving.
All right, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, sponsoring the traffic on St. Patrick's Day, the fourth most popular drinking holiday.
MAD help or visit mad.org.
If you see traffic trouble, call the Acadian Windows traffic tip line at pound 250, keyword total traffic when prompted. Acadian Windows, your hurricane protection specialists.
I'm Cameron Taylor with Fox 10 News. Mobile County deputies now say a teen killed in a Sunday shooting in Pritchard was 17-year-old Isaiah Johnston, and they made an arrest. The sheriff's office saying 20-year-old Jonathan Robinson, along with a 16-year-old boy, were brought to the sheriff's office by their parents for their alleged roles in the shooting. Robinson is charged with felony murder, and deputies say the 3 other passengers in the car, all juveniles, will also face felony murder charges. Investigators say 6 young men arrived in a stolen white 2016 Ford Fusion on MLK Jr. Avenue, and the driver, now identified as Johnston, was shot by the front seat passenger. In Escambia County, Florida, 2 Navy sailors helped save a man's life after his car plunged into Bayou Chico Creek Sunday night. Florida Highway Patrol is saying a Pensacola man had a medical emergency while driving, heading east in the westbound lanes of US 98. The car ran a red light, crossed a parking lot, hit a concrete bollard, tore through a fence and over a boardwalk before landing in the water and submerging. Troopers say one sailor jumped into the water and pulled the driver out. The other sailor started first aid until paramedics arrived. Downtown Mobile turning green for St. Patrick's Day, from breakfast to a big parade. O'Daly's on Dolphin hosting its annual Green Kegs and Eggs, with the friendly sons of St. Patrick gathering in their green jackets. Later, hundreds rolled through Cathedral Square for the St. Patrick's Day parade, and they say about 400 sons of St. Patrick took part. I'm Cameron Taylor with Fox 10 News on this iHeartRadio station.
This is News Radio 710 WNTM.
Fox News, I'm Tom Graham. President Trump is delaying his planned trip to Beijing to meet with his Chinese counterpart as trade tensions continue between the two economic giants. U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer tells Fox Business,
the folks in Beijing and the folks back here in Washington are trying to find a new date for some weeks out.
President Trump had previously asked China and other countries to send ships as part of a coalition to secure the Strait of Hormuz amid the conflict with Iran. Senate leaders passing a test vote on the so-called Save America Act. It would require proof of U.S. citizenship to register to vote. Today's vote clears the way for more debate on the measure. Republican Senator Eric Schmidt has amendments he wants to add to the bill.
Not just proving citizenship, not just photo ID, but curtailing the abuses we've seen with mass mail-in balloting. We saw it in 2020.
Democrats say the bill amounts to voter suppression. America's listening to Fox News.
All right. YouTube viewers, thank you for being a viewer. Going to be back on the radio here in less than 2 minutes. Let me take a look and see what's happening in the chat room, if anything. Hey, Spencer Smith, how you doing? Nice to see you there. Azure and two-time whatever, hello to you. Thank you for watching. All right, let me see. What can I tell you about? Since this is a weird show, I'll have some weird news for you. A man was arrested, 37-year-old Anthony Drayton, out in the San Francisco area. He was arrested because he was a part of 5 different thefts at San Francisco area Whole Food stores. Now, they're alleging he made off with close to $21,000 in merchandise. That is some really serious shoplifting. Either that or the prices are way too dadgum high at Whole Foods. $21,000. Stealing stuff, shoplifting at Whole Foods. Grand theft. They did say that he got a single basket of organic produce and non-GMO baking soda as part of his heist. Also, there are people offering tips on how to drive now that gas prices are going up higher. The experts say if you want to conserve on gasoline, you should drive slower. That's a great tip, isn't it? Only idle your vehicle when you absolutely have to. Well, that's how most of us do it, I think. Maybe. I don't know, though. Here in Mobile, when it gets hot, people will sit with the air conditioning going in a parking lot for who knows how long. Also, they're saying you should think about carpooling. That is almost like a throwbacks tip from the 1960s. Uncle Henry Show continues here on News Radio 710 WNTM. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you. There was some celebrating in Mobile, and there's still some, I'm sure, going on. I got a brief report here from Fox 10's Stephen Moody on how the celebration went earlier today in downtown Mobile.
A sea of green can only mean one thing. It's St. Patrick's Day, and just like every year, O'Daly's on Dolphin Street was where the party started. People filed in for the annual Green Kegs and Eggs breakfast, where they ate delicious food, drank, and had a great time.
This is my favorite time of the year.
Oh, here we go. I love foreign accents. I do. Ever since I was a little child, I enjoyed foreign accents. I've told you before, I loved it when the Beverly Hillbillies went to London. Do you remember that? Beverly Hillbillies went to London. Wonderful. All the foreign accents. This guy, I love this man's accent.
This is my favorite time of the year.
Yeah, I'm going to keep that. That's going to stay in my archives because I can use that literally any day I want to. Back to the story. Got to restart it. Yes, I'm getting too excited about the foreign accent.
Was where the party started. People filed in for the annual Green Kegs and Eggs breakfast, where they ate delicious food, drank, and had a great time.
This is my favorite time of the year. Bring the community spirit and the friendship, and we need something like that at the current state of affairs overseas. I feel like we need a little bit of love in our lives.
And this was home base for the Friendly Sons of St. Patrick as they gathered here in their green jackets. But a few hours later, it was time to head down to Cathedral Square for the annual parade. And after a strong Mardi Gras season, Mobile still had a little bit more party left in their system.
And there's 400 Sons of St. Patrick's involved in that. And as I said, that community spirit, and that camaraderie. Mardi Gras was just a fantastic celebration this year. Definitely, like I said, that community spirit and everybody enjoying the Mardi Gras. and back for St. Patrick's Day.
Hey, I hope on Cinco de Mayo they find somebody with just as good an accent.
You're Irish or just Irish for the day. It was something that everyone enjoyed.
Smile a lot and wave and hold your hand out. No, and just have a great time.
Stephen Moody, Fox 10 News.
All right, Stephen Moody always does a great job there on Fox News. And thank you, Stephen Moody, for interviewing the man at Dailies.
This is my favorite time of the year.
I need to get this guy. I just need to go interview him and ask him to tell me about life, just so I can hear him talking. Now, because the Crichton Leprechaun is the most viral thing to come out of Mobile in the history of the internet, the Crichton Leprechaun, I often play the Crichton Leprechaun audio from the original video on this radio station on the Uncle Henry Show. This year I want to play you something I've played a few times before. Back in 2013, Bill O'Reilly of the O'Reilly Factor on Fox News did a story about the Crichton Leprechaun and had a panel analyzing the video on Fox News. So let's listen back to 2013, Bill O'Reilly analyzing the Crichton Leprechaun.
Back in the book segment tonight, did you see that? Where we bring you video you may have missed, video that has some kind of edge to it. With us now, Fox News.
It has some edge to it.
News.com correspondent Courtney Friel and Fox News anchor Jane Skinner. Let me set this up, Jane. In 2006, a Mobile, Alabama television station did a report on a leprechaun, on an alleged leprechaun, which is a small little Irish guy that runs around. It's a mythical deal. Anyway, it was perceived in some quarters to be racist.
See, there's got to be an angle like that. So Bill O'Reilly, he's going to say, is this racist or not? And he, of course, brought in a couple of white women to decide if it's racist or not.
Now, every 2 minutes is popping up in different forms. Let's roll the tape.
Curiosity leads to large crowds in Mobile's Crichton community. Many of you bringing binoculars, camcorders, even camera phones to take pictures.
To me, it look like a leprechaun to me. All I gotta do is look up in the tree. Who else in the leprechaun say yeah?
Eyewitnesses say the leprechaun only comes out at night. If you shine a light in its direction, it suddenly disappears. This amateur sketch resembles what many of you say the leprechaun looks like. Others find it hard to believe and have come up with their own theories and explanations for the image.
My theory is it's casting a shadow from the other limb.
Could be a crackhead that got hold to the wrong stuff, and it told him to get up in a tree and play a leprechaun.
So what'd you think, Jane?
The station, just for the record, played it straight. They played it as straight as you could be, I guess, with this leprechaun in a tree. But a story like, I see Elvis in my grilled cheese, come out and take a picture of it. So they played it as this is fun a couple of days before St. Patrick's Day. Then it went viral. As you said, it got more than 10 million hits it's gotten so far on YouTube.
That was back then, 2013, and the people are still making videos about it.
People have sent it around. There's a website now. You can buy T-shirts, kind of making fun of the guy you see on your screen there. The leprechaun himself has a MySpace page that somebody set up. I'm 8 inches tall. I like Notre Dame and gold.
It's all black people.
Yes.
All right. And it, you know, you could easily say they're trying to mock these people. I mean, look.
Well, sure, it's silly. We are laughing at them,
okay,
but we got to
you don't see a malicious intent.
No, I don't.
Do you?
I am very ignorant when it comes to racial stereotypes, which I thank my parents for. But this is one of my favorite videos because it's so funny. This was an actual news story that aired on a real station.
Yeah.
And look, it's not racist because the reporter, Brian Johnson, was black. One of the anchors tossing into the story was black. Half of Mobile's population is black. Some of the remixes out there, I will say, they could be interpreted a little bit like that.
Listen, nobody knows anybody's intent. If I were the news director, I don't think I would have run the piece. I understand it. I see that you can take it in good fun, but
I have to. Just one comparison though. If people in Long Island in your neighborhood with their accents are saying, "Oh my God, they see a Martian in the lamppost," oh my God, we'd be laughing at them too. They'd be laughing at themselves.
Maybe,
we gotta lighten up.
Maybe. Okay, that's a good point, Jane.
All right, Bill O'Reilly. If I were the news director, I would not have run that. And you would have not gotten global publicity for your TV station. Hello, caller.
Hey, good evening, Uncle Henry.
Cliff, you are live on the radio.
Uncle Henry, back in the late, or maybe the middle 60s and up to maybe 70, in Orange Grove over in the projects, for us young kids that would, be out playing where you go in the house at before dark.
Yeah.
They had put out, and it was in the paper, that there was a dog lady running around snatching children. They even had a picture of it. It looked like a greyhound with a wig on. But, it was all in the paper about the dog lady just to scare us in the house.
I've never heard that before.
Yes, sir. I think I'm going to have to go try to find it because it was in the news back when they had, I used to throw papers.
Yeah.
Back then. We had a paper shack downtown by the old bus station down there.
Yeah.
And I throw papers. I think I was in the 7th or the 8th grade. And it was in the paper. But we did stay in the house.
So it worked.
Yeah, bless day,
you too. Thank you, Cliff, for that story. I've never heard the story about a dog lady kidnapping children in Mobile. But if it, I guess parents didn't mind as long as the kids didn't go out and get into trouble. All right, look, there is more. Yes, there is more Uncle Henry Show coming up here on News Radio 710 WNTM. After we take a time out for traffic, weather, and words from our sponsors on this St. Patrick's Day. What a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful St. Patrick's Day it has been.
Still have a crash with injury and road blockage on Brent Lane at Rawson Lane in Pensacola. Heavy congestion on the Bayway East on I-10. From I-65 to the Eastern Shore, it's a 25-minute drive. And on Highway 59 from I-10 to Gulf Shores, a 55-minute drive. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Lisa Baque.
This report is sponsored.
YouTube viewers, thank you for looking. Hello to Pat Nelly, or someone claiming to be Pat Nelly. Thank you for looking in. Philip Brunsing. Wolfwoman, 73 Wolfwoman. Okay, I'd not heard about that. Philip, thank you for telling me about that. 68-year-old Chris mentioning the Bama basketball player that had a bunch of marijuana. Now, do you think he bought it for himself using NIL money? Or do you think it was maybe part of a secret NIL payment? It could be either way. By the way, Johnny Gwynn on social media, very angry at the Alabama player. Pat Nelly, congratulations from originating from County Cork, Ireland. Now, let's see. What can I tell you about while waiting to go back on the radio? There is a man that has invented a backup camera lens cleaner on your car's backup camera. If you're annoyed by having a dirty lens on your car's backup camera, there's the Lens Lizard. This man, Mike Klein of Vermont, invented this little contraption that attaches to the back of the license plate and can spray water on the camera with the click of a button. And it retails for $149. Now, who's going to spend $149 for this when you could get out of your car, you could pull into a parking lot, get out of the car, and take a paper towel or a napkin or something and go back there and clean it yourself for free? The Lens Lizard. All right, what else can I tell you about? In China, they got a company in China that has successfully test flown what may be the world's largest electric flying taxi. It weighs 5 tons. It's built to carry up to 10 passengers. They tested it out. It lifted off, switched to fixed wing flight, and landed again at a test site. There are going to be 2 versions of it. The flying passenger model, called the Sky Dragon, holds up to 10 people. There's going to be a cargo version called the Matrix that can haul over a ton of freight. Now, I would say to the company, congratulations on figuring out how to do this, but I'm going to let you fly these things for a few years before I ever try to take a flying taxi. I'm going to let you go ahead and go first. You go first. You know, I know that as soon as we get flying cars, we're going to have flying cars falling on top of actual cars on the ground. It's going to happen. They're going to fall on us. Can you imagine, you know, already on television, there's so many of these personal injury attorney ads. Can you imagine the personal injury attorney ads they're going to pop up when we have flying cars? Were you injured when a car fell on you? All right, back on the radio in 10 seconds.
Available everywhere with the iHeartRadio app. Now #1 for podcasting. This is News Radio 710 WNTM, an iHeartRadio station.
This is the Uncle Henry Show. 5:50 news headlines coming up in 10 minutes, and then more Uncle Henry Show. Now, before I'm out of time here, let me get to a voicemail from Snake Trapper. That is first name Snake, last name Trapper.
Hey, Uncle Henry, Snake Trapper. Hey, man, I think I'm about to adjust to this time change a little bit quicker than what I normally do, Uncle Henry.
Oh, good.
What I have figured out, I just go to bed real early. That way I don't feel drained and tired when I do get up. Now, although I've adjusted to it, Uncle Henry, I do not think the possums and the night dwellers have adjusted. They can't figure out why their last hour of roaming through the woods or alongside highways, there's so much traffic out there, Uncle Henry. Had to slow down for a possum on Snow Road this morning, a little bit before 6. So people be careful out there.
By the way, I'm sorry to pause you, Snake Trapper, but what a compassionate trapper of snakes. He's so compassionate for the possums. He notes when they're crossing the road and what time it is. Worries about their safety. Very compassionate toward the little bitty possums.
There and kind of watch for them. And also, my cat Loki, he still ain't figured out what's going on, Uncle Henry. Normally he gets up about the same time I do, but man, I get up and then here he comes wandering out from under the bed, looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, dude, go back to bed. It ain't time. I'm sure he'll adjust to it too, Uncle Henry.
You know, I've never, ever wondered about the effects of daylight saving time on critters. Because I just assumed that they don't have clocks and it wouldn't bother them. But I can see that the routine would be messed up even for the little critters.
Especially with it being cooler weather, you know. He likes to go out when he gets up and man, he's kind of hesitant. He stands at the door and looks at me like, please go back to bed for another hour and then let me out. Anyway, Uncle Henry, he'll get used to it. I don't know that the night dwellers will. But, man, the animals seem to have this crap figured out, Uncle Henry. It's us humans that likes to keep tinkering with time. We can't control how fast this Earth rotates around our sun, but dang it, we can pick a time period and stick to it. It's crazy, man. You have a good day, my buddy.
Thank you very much, Snake Trapper, for your voicemail. The voicemail number is 251-216-1976. That's 251-216-1976 to leave a message for the Uncle Henry Show. Hello, caller.
Hello, Uncle Henry.
Yes, sir. You're live on the radio.
Okay, I had a little comment I want to make on Cliff's about the lady that run around there.
Yeah, he said it. He said it. He said it looked like a greyhound. He called it a dog lady.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I got a pretty good idea who that was.
Okay. Should I ask?
Hillary Clinton.
Okay. Well, sir, thank you. That's quite a callback. Thank you very much for that.
Hi, Uncle Henry. Have a good evening.
You too. Thank you very much for your phone call. Not what I was expecting. And now I know you may think that was unkind to Hillary Clinton. That even with all of her awful, disgusting behavior through the years, that she doesn't deserve to be put in that light. But I'm glad he picked Hillary instead of anyone local. I was worried about some local person being smeared as a dog lady. Now, I had somebody watching on YouTube, this show live on the Uncle Henry Show YouTube channel. Philip Brunson said it was actually a wolf woman. Something like that, a wolf woman. Not a dog lady, a wolf woman. All right, well, look, just about out of time in this edition of the Uncle Henry Show. There is more show coming up after the top of the hour news. I got more news items I want to go over so I can learn about them. And also going to talk to a lady that is involved with a fundraiser for Ronald McDonald House Charities of Mobile. The Rubber Ducky Regatta is an event coming up this Saturday at OWA in Foley, raising money for Ronald McDonald House Charities of Mobile. And they're a place where parents that have kids in the hospital, parents can go to this house and sleep there. They can do their laundry there. They can get a meal there. They do great work there. So I'm going to learn more about the Rubber Ducky Regatta coming up after the top of the hour news break. Again, if you want to leave me a voicemail message, 251-216-1976. That's 251-216-1976. To leave a message for the Uncle Henry Show.
Securing America.
YouTube viewers, thank you so much for viewing. I do appreciate it very, very much. I will be back tomorrow at the regular time. Thank you for watching. Have a pleasant evening and a pleasant tomorrow.
That's exactly what the Red Cross's Service to the Armed Forces effort is all about, and it's why Fox is proud to support that effort. Service to Armed Forces assists those serving overseas in returning home and making sure service members can get urgent messages from their families as well as needed support. The services include mental health resources,